Good evening, sir. Good evening, everybody. Easter greetings to every one of us. My name is Dayo Adewood, and this is my wife. She's Comfort Adewood. We have two children. We are missionaries. We work among one of the major tribes in Nigeria. We probably will not want to mention, probably for reasons. Maybe if there are people who want to know the particular, maybe we can meet. With Aaron and all foundation. I think we can talk about that. But we work with one of the major tribes in the north. I graduated from one of the universities in the country, just like my wife also. And while I was in school, I used to be passionate about anything that had to do with evangelism, really. So I used to be passionate. At some point, I knew really that I will actually serve God with my certificate. After going for service, my youth corps, I think by the time I finished service, I was actually trying to understand what God would want me to do. It wasn't clear at the beginning, but I knew God was calling me into. There are two things I used to pray for when I was in school. I used to pray for the wife I will marry and for the job I will do. Now, at that point, God was telling me that it wasn't a wife you need for your life. It wasn't a job you need for your life. It's a direction you need for your life. So that went on for some time. But, I kept on praying and, presenting the whole case to my pastor, blessed memory pastor, Joshua there. And, there was, somebody also that helped, in the process. A woman that was saying, to me then that, Dayo, you have a call over your life, but because of my busy, business in the church, doing in evangelism, being in, almost all the groups in the church, nursery and all that. So I was thinking, that is the peak of it. But when God started drawing my attention to the fact that there's a direction I need for my life, so I kept on praying, and with the guidance of my pastor then, Pastor Joshua then, and the second person to my pastor, that's the two of them were able to help me, because each time I go to them, that this is what I'm hearing, or they will say I should go back to God. So that helped me to get the clarity of what I have to do. And at the end of the day, God showed me that the direction I had to do with her. Even then, my church too, we're doing go for missions. Pastor will go to the Republic, go to Togo. So what God was saying, what He has for me has to do with Capro. Capro is Calvary Ministries. Capro is a mission agency in Nigeria. Even though we are now in Africa, God had to show me that what He asked for me had to do with Capro. So it was clear then. Then from there, working with, after you was posted to work among a major tribe. Well, I think it's safe for me to say I work among Canaanites. I actually don't want to mention it because of that's the tribe I work among. And God has been helping us. So I was alone then, I was single. And after some years, I never knew that before I left home, I came into mission. God has told my wife to we attend to the same church. wife has told her that I'll be the husband. That was after 5 years. I got to know. And by the grace of God, she too has her own conviction for missions. Because before you can marry, you have to make sure that even your wife too understand what mission is. So by the grace of God, she too went into a training school together today. This particular place is the major place I've worked for a long time. But I've been with Amukus, I've done, but not for a long time. Actually, the culture, for somebody coming from the south, I'm from the south, I'm a southerner. When I was coming here, I only have my English and the Yoruba language. But I could, then I could judge by 1 year. I saw myself speaking Hausa. I saw myself speaking Fufu also. Actually, one of the things that we do the first year on the field, you have to learn the culture and the language. The culture here, the culture I had when I was coming, they are two different cultures. God has actually helped my wife too over time. It's actually, from the point of understanding what your life is meant for. I remember them before, my mom, blessed memory, she's dead. When I was to leave home, she was saying I should not go anywhere. But because I was sure of what God is calling me to do, so I went to her, I told her, I said, "Oh, this is actually what God has reserved my life to do." So, fortunately for her, she said, "Oh, long ago when we were small, that somebody told her, that I think a pastor told her that one of your children will serve God in one way." So I told her, I said, "Oh, this is the way." So I was sure of my calling when I was small. So for everybody my colleagues, you have to be sure of what your call is. And being sure now, then you bury your life in the culture, in the system. So the first 1 year is to learn the culture. Because without the culture and the language, you don't have ministry. The work here is not like just do evangelism, just do crusade, then off you go. You have to stay among the people. You have to live the life. You have said yes, you have the life of Christ. You have to live it. The people have to see the Christ as flesh among them. So with the language, you can't say you are struggling with it, because you know that this is how to express life itself. So, and God has actually helped us. And like I said, the culture and the culture I used to have, the Yoruba culture, they are two different cultures. But again, God has helped us over the time that, our food, just like the people come to us, they feel free, they eat, they don't have problem. So we go to them also, we eat. And another thing I will talk about, maybe the weather. The weather can be challenging, really. But again, God is helping us around it. The heat. I think the heat, my wife is not a friend of heat. But again, God is helping her around it too.
Okay, when it comes to issue of regret, actually, I don't, even though it can be very challenging. But God has been faithful. He has been proving himself, and I have been learning to take it one day at a time. And since I am sure I am in the midst of God's will, I am in God's will, I know that all of these other challenges at times can come as a discouragement. I know that it is stepping stone to what God has for me.
Thank you so much for that, sir. And that's a major point, really, because I want to say this. When I go to the School of Mission, Capital School of Mission in Jos, the commendation letter that my pastor wrote, it was the admin officer at the School of Mission that read it to me. She said, "Did you read this letter you carried?" I said, "No. I'm not supposed to read it. It's addressed to the school." She read it to me. She said, "It's written there that if not that we need to release him to answer God's call, we wouldn't have, because he's very important to us in the church." Now, the reason why I said that is that many of us that are working in the church, that are serving in one department or the other, we're actually important to the church. We are doing excellently. And probably there are so many of us that are listening, that are working in one, church or the other. We are serving God wonderfully. But until I got to the field, I never really understand that there are two different things. I think as we serve in the church, it's wonderful, really. But one thing is, there is a higher calling beyond that. And I think church leaders too should understand that very, very well. Church leaders should understand that very, very well. So that if God is calling anybody under us, I think we should just seek to understand that it's actually God seeking to use that person in another place, in his own plan, so that we don't hold on to them as if, no, they are the only one who can do what is being done in the church. And the funniest thing is that after I left the church, honestly, God brought into the church some people that even till today we are friends, we relate well. By the time I went back home to see what they were doing, I was so happy. They were doing excellently well. So it's like God taking one and replacing. Sure, I can count 1, 2, 3. I can count 3 people who came into the church after I left, and they were serving in different positions excellently. Then when I was there in the church, sure, I was serving in almost all. I was in transportation, I was in evangelism, I was in the ushering department. I was in virtually almost many departments. But God Himself knows that He has something for me beyond what I was doing. In short, in one of the revelations I had at that particular time, because at the point I had to leave sleeping at home to go and be sleeping in the church, because the key to the church auditorium used to be with me, because I used to be an usher. So at home I will always tell them that we have vigil. They don't know who and who is having vigil in church, because I really needed to find out the direction that God was talking about. And one of the nights, God gave me a revelation that I was on a journey with Him, and suddenly the children in the church, they were playing. So I started engaging them. Meanwhile, I was on a journey with Him. So He went ahead and started looking back and looking at it. It took some time before I realized that I was going on a journey with Him. So when I realized, I had to scream in the dream that, please, wait for me. I ran after Him. So many of us that are working in the church, we are like, for me, it's like people on a journey with God. And the leadership should understand, we ourselves should understand, that is not the limit of our service to God. And coming to the field, I understood that Gaskia is not the same, really. Working in the church, you can fake so many things. You can't fake your life before demon, really. you can't fake. And and when a demon possesses your neighbor, enjoy it, they are your neighbors around. So what do you want to fake? But at home you can fake. You can work as an usher and you're something else. So I discover here that it's not the same. You have to live the life that you say you have. That life of Christ, you have to live it. And day by day, you have to live it. So really, I will say it's actually the scripture, because many a times the scriptures we read many a time at home in the church, we quote them, we use them. But if you want to practicalize them, I will invite you to.
Actually, it has not been easy, it has not been funny, it has been very challenging. But in it all, God is helping us. We are in our area here, actually. The highest school you will see around there is the Almajiri schools. Here they will teach the children Arabic, Islamic stuff. There's no school. 3 years ago, I had to go for a training with AC. There's this group, AC homeschooling curriculum, actually. So I went for the training in Abuja. So when God now blessed us, we started having them. When the firstborn is 4 years, she will be 5 by July. The secondborn is 3 years. When the firstborn came, we started with homeschooling, which we are still doing. The secondborn came, joined her. So we use, even though it's challenging, yes, it's very challenging, because accommodation, we really don't have convenient accommodation. We have one room apartment where we do our homeschooling. Here is our room, is our sitting room. When we have the villagers, when we have visitors, it's still this one room. So it's actually very challenging. But so we are still managing it up till now. So we make the environment, we make the room, place learning things, make it look as a school, even though it's a room. So we have our writing board, we have our alphabet on the board, our national anthem, the children have their table and their chair. Or when we resume school around 8, then we close 1, 2. So we just to give them just to make them reason they are in school. And the way the thing is now for them is that they have that consciousness that they are going to school, even though everything is done in that one room. They know that they are going to school. When we get to school, they know that mommy, when they get to school, mommy become their auntie, daddy become their uncle, because we had to be rotating it, doing it, and still with the work. We are just trying so that at least we can trust God to make up for them. So this is the little I can say concerning how we're coping with them. Not at all, sir. We are here with God.
The place, I will first of all say that is safe since God is involved, and God knows how to keep us. At some point before now, it used to be very safe, but not long, because some of our people, they are our people really, they started relocating to this place. So by then, this place, the security issue, started becoming a big problem. In short, at the point they kidnapped somebody very close to us, just behind where we stay. By then, all along, we have been praying, and we know God has been, keeping us. So by then, we're already thinking what is going to happen, since the thing is coming behind our place. But again, not long, the military, because of the, sent, I don't know how God did sent, the military presence around us here. So it has reduced the tension, but still a bit far away and close by sometimes. We still hear of cases of kidnapping. But again, God is helping us here, and we are focused on what He has for us to do. Sorry, one of the questions my wife asked me then, when I got to know that she will actually be my wife, proposed that we were cutting, before she came along to the School of Mission, I was asking, how will I feed her? And the question was met me unprepared, and I told her, the same way God is feeding me to feed you. So God is actually the one feeding us, really. And God uses His children. Let me put it that way. He uses people. We put our case in the heart of people. People probably that we have related with before. People that have heard about what we do. Many of them, God put body in their heart. I could remember sometimes last year when we had some challenges, and one of my friends, old-time friend, he called, and he was saying, for some time, the wife was saying, for some time, you people have been in our heart. The wife said, one of the days I had to pray that God put me in the heart of people also who will help me, the way you are putting these people in our heart. So I will say, it's God that has been taking care of us, and He is faithful in taking care of us, and He uses people, His children, to do that. Okay, the issue of the water, thank God for Aaron and Hall Foundation that God used to help us concerning the water challenge. The other challenge is the challenge my wife just mentioned, the accommodation. Presently, we are in one room. Maybe I will say the headquarters now. It's the room, the kitchen, the toilet, the bedroom, and the school. But again, the other room we have, two other colleagues are there. We have another colleague. It's a bit challenging. Who stays? Do I stay outside, or how do I put it now? We turn it around. I don't know how to say that, but again, that's just the truth. And again, people sleep outside anyway because of the heat. So it's challenging, really. Even though as at present we are raising a 2-room building. We are the roofing level. Before now, the estimates for the next stage, we are the roofing level, but thank God we have all it takes now. It's just the work that we are waiting for to roof it. But the building we still need doors, and the windows we need to plaster it. And for the doors and windows, I think we have 800 plus to solve that. And the ceiling is there and all that. So we have different points. But what I'm saying is, the next stage after the roofing, of which we have all the materials for the roof, the next stage is the doors, the windows, and the doors and the windows. And it's going to be costing us 800 dollars. So that is that. Then, like myself, a brother, we have another brother too that, like I said, that stays at least. We use the whole room, but the brother is a single brother. So we have a challenge of motorbike, really. But trusting God that we'll finish this, the building, then trusting God that we're going to have the bike also. And maybe our base too, later, we need to fence it. The one mattress we have for them, the mattress, when you lie down in the middle, you go down as if you're in the river. So when you are coming up, the thing doesn't follow your flow. When one of the sisters came, say, I can't use this mattress. So the sister used mat as I'm talking to you. So we are trusting God. Then the brother too, we're trusting God too for his own mattress, even when we have them. So that's one of the challenge. But again, we count it all joy. Where we were before in another state, let me just say it that way.
Yeah.
That location, we're having converts, and we had a house church. But presently, the convert and the house church is no more. But the kind of discipleship strategy we use then, that's what I actually want to talk about. And that's what we employ over in this new place also. We used to meet in the night. We meet the people in the night. We have services in the night. And the house church, then they were meeting on their own. But some problems came up, and those things collapsed. And presently where we are, this particular state, there's a camp here where we have a house church. The man first came in, believed. The wife followed. The children, they are in two of Capro schools. Almost okay, I think only one child is at home. The eldest son is at home following Cap. The rest of the children, they are already in school. And one of the aim of the school is actually to disciple the children. So these children, they are believers. At least those ones that have grown up. There are those who are in secondary school, those who are almost getting to primary 6. So those children, presently as I'm talking to them, they are at home on holiday. I still spoke with them 2 days ago. So they are believers. But this particular location where we are, there is no believer yet. But since it's a work in process, we are trusting God that God will bring them in His own time. But we have people who are evangelizing already, who we are presenting the gospel. Sure, just a few minutes ago, we just had a program concerning Easter. I'll first of all say that maybe whatever God lays in our heart. But one request again I will ask for is prayers. Getting connected, like for example, Aaron and Hall Foundation that connected us. And I'm sure probably every one of us have a contact with Aaron and Hall Foundation. So I feel through Aaron and Hall Foundation, we can get information about us. And if it is personal, I don't know whether that is allowed, but again, I will say we need your prayers. And whatever way God will want you to be part of the work, we pray that God will help everyone listening to be part of it. I think I will say maybe number one, the accommodation. And maybe number two, the children's schooling. So those are the two, because for example, like if we finish that building, I'm trusting God that I will have a separate building even for the school, and trusting God too, because there's something I'm perceiving, like some of the neighborhood, they have seen the children, and they have seen the difference between them and the children. So one of them was telling me recently that the parents around us, that they are trying to arrange themselves to come and meet me. Said, no, when they meet me, that we should take in their children. That would be good. That's what I'm looking for. So, and when that happens, it will not be, inside the room or parlor kind of thing. Probably will have a separate place. we have some friends, even though they are not here, who are doctors. So many a times when there's a challenge, after prayers, the first thing after prayers, the next thing we do is to speak with them on phone, to explain to them the kind of challenge we have. Then they can, if it's something, they can advise us what to do. We do that. And if it goes beyond the talk on phone, we have hospital where we are. The challenge with the hospital is the personnel. There was a time my wife was pregnant, and the prescription the doctor was making, when I called the doctor friend, explained, the doctor was saying, no, she can't take this drug. She can't. When I observed that 1, 2, 3 times, I had to be careful too of what we do, with the hospital. And the state capital, there's a FMC, even though it will take us to travel, but at least, we can still get that. So with God, He has been helping us. It can be so draining, really. When you have to give much, and taking it too can be so challenging. So many a times, number one, our quiet time, at least we try to make it as regular and enriching. And as a team too, we are presently where we are 5 of us. So every day, somebody taking the devotion. So we share, sharing among ourselves. Then we have Bible study too. Our day's programs. So we try to turn it around among ourselves. Then presently there's no church, as in a conventional church, the location where we are. So once in a while we go out of this the town itself. We go to Sundays. Once in a while we join, go to the next probably the next village to join a church there, conventional church, and that helps us for fellowship. That helps us for fellowship. And once in a while too, when we have leave, 1 month leave at least, we travel wherever we travel to, usually it's among brethren, so that helps us too. Yes, very well. In short, our coming back last year, because we had some challenges of which we had to really cry to God to understand, and God was saying there are people He has called in this place. So we understood Him that we still have work to do among them. There are times that you'll be asking yourself, what are you really doing? And we have had challenges, so that's why I was laughing at first, and I saw my wife too laughing too. But again, God has been good, really, because many a times when the challenge becomes much, He comes, in His own way to help us out. So we are grateful to